How's it going, guys? Drae here, and today we're going to be checking out Species, Artificial Life, Real Evolution. Now, this one is a blast from the past for me. This is a game I actually checked out very early into my channel. It was about 4 years ago when I checked out the very early alpha of this game, and now it's been released, so I'm excited to see where this game has come since then, and yeah, we're going to check it out today and see what it's all about. Now, as the name kind of describes, this is a species game. You build a species, and then you evolve it through the power of natural selection. So basically, you start off with a basic species, and over time, kind of like Spore, you get more and more complex, and yeah, they break off into different types of species. Now, unlike Spore, this one's more scientifically focused. Spore's more of a, fun little game. This is more focused on the science behind it. The species algorithm is pretty complex, and it's not a very pretty game, I'll be the first to admit that, but if you are a fan of just sheer information and stats, there's no better species game out there, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to start off with a blank slate species. That's basically a little worm. It has a head and a body. I don't know why the image is so small, but that is the actual species. Now, you can actually do randomized species. You can actually, I think, even import your own species that you make. You can even do predator and prey if you want to see lots of fighting. I'm going to start with the blank slate, though, because I want to see where this little worm dude goes. And for the start, we're going to start with 150 creatures, and I'm going to drop down the creature cap quite a bit because I was having major lag issues in this game. We're going to put it down to 500. Now, as you can see, you can totally customize this the way you want. It's actually totally randomly generated, too, as you can see by the seed indicator over here. You can get to any island that you possibly want, and you can actually customize this even more by, for example, having a crater, a plateau, 0.40, whatever that means. But yeah, I'm going to do the suggested ocean, and I want to find a world that has a couple different islands on it, because I want to see how the species evolves when it's on a different island from its other species counterpart. So what we're looking for here is a nice spread out world with a couple different islands. This actually looks good right here like this. So we got 3 major islands, a little one, a medium one, and a very, very large one. So that looks fun to me. And you can get pretty crazy into the customization here. I'm only going to change a few things. I want to make this planet a little bit easier to survive, so I'm going to up the efficiency of food. Tree, meat, and grazing. So all the species should be a little bit better at surviving. We can even go crazier in this game. For example, you can even do reproduction type. I'm going to keep it parthenogenic, which basically means they can reproduce without having a partner. But you could, if you want, make the creatures mate as well, which is hilarious to me. Everything else looks rather good to me. I think I'll up the forest density and tree growth rate just to give our guys the best chance at survival. And let's actually upgrade the speed of the creatures as well to 1.50. That way they can move around faster. And stamina, we'll give them a little bit more so they have the best chance at surviving. All right, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are in our little oasis. Now, as you can see, we got... Whoa, it's already auto-saving. Okay, I haven't even done anything yet, game. Relax. But as you can see, we have our species wandering around, grazing about, and there's probably going to be a huge dead loss at the start because a lot of these guys are just randomly placed on the world, and some places are easier to survive than others. So I'm going to expect that's going to happen very, very soon here. We'll let this species grow a little bit, but then we'll get into how we can kind of play God, and I can showcase what this game is all about. But as you can see right now, they are literally grazing. Looks like, what's the temperature here? Yeah, 41 degrees Celsius. All right, I'm going to play God already. We're going to cool down this planet a little bit by cooling the temperature because these guys, I think it actually shows you, yeah, their temperature indicator right here. Optimal external temperature is 28 degrees Celsius for this little guy. So I don't want them all to die right away just by the fact that they're on an extremely hot planet. So now that we got that, I don't want to play God too much. Like I said, I just want to see what this creature turns into if we give it some time. So we're going to do exactly that. Population is actually expanding really, really quickly. In my test runs, my population would die down at the start. So I think it has to do with all this flora we have around, which was me editing the world. So it looks like we have a really good starting world for these guys, so hopefully they'll evolve quickly. Now, what I'm most curious about, and it's a good thing we actually have species on both the worlds, or both the islands, I want to see how they evolve differently depending on where they live. Now, going deeper into the species, we can kind of look at the stats and what's going on here. We have an overview, and like I said, this is a very stat-driven game. So if you are a fan of stats, it's not a pretty game, I'll be the first to admit that, but it has the stats that a lot of other games don't. May he ever rest in peace. Like I said, we're going to have some major dead loss at the start, and it looks like I'm having it now. We had a major population spike, and now we're having death loss. So what I'm going to do is just pause the game real quick, just to kind of show you what we're working with in terms of stats. So this little guy right here, he looks like he's having a fun time. Never mind, he's dying. All right, you're not going for a nice little swim, Olive Boy. You're actually dying. May you ever rest in peace. But why is he dying? Because he's starving. This is his food bar right here. It's called energy. Not really sure why. I mean, I guess technically food's energy, so makes sense. This is the health bar, and the stamina bar basically dictates how much they can do in a short period of time. It's stamina. I think you guys get the idea of that. Physiology, you can actually see their general, their head, and I'm assuming once they get more limbs and whatnot, you can see their different types of scale in here. Right now, it's very basic. You can actually even go into their genetic code, and there's a crazy algorithm in this game for the actual genetics. It's very, again, detailed, so I don't know too much about it, so I'm not even going to try and explain it to you, but there is actual genetic code in this game, and you can actually save this creature and reproduce it if you do want to. And then we can go to the actual species, which we only have one right now, Premium Spectrium, Specium, which is 216 population, and it's the olive dude that I was talking about. So right now we really can't do much unless we want to play God, so I'm just going to let the world populate a little bit and give these creatures the test of time. So we're going to speed up time here and see what happens. You can see we're hitting our cap like crazy, but like I said, I was having FPS issues. We're still lagging a little bit right now when we go in fast mode. But now, as you can see, you can watch them graze everywhere, and they are dominating this part of the island. Looks like nobody has came over here. This is like a really good spot. We do have a small colony over here that are going to go in here, and I'm hoping these guys can be like herbivores or something as they grow up. Now, looking at the satellite map, as you can see, we have a healthy spread, actually. Usually, when I've tested out this game, there's usually one major colony somewhere, but we actually have a nice spread of colonies right now. Then these things might die out. I'm hoping someone somehow makes it over to this island. We can manually move creatures if we want to, too. I'm not going to do that just yet. But yes, as you can see, right now, they are foraging, and you can quite literally see where they're eating, because you can see the ground difference of where they're eating all the plants. Now, there's a clade diagram here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but this is basically the species diagram. You can see this is our original species. This is basically our Adam and Eve. And as time goes up, this yellow bar will go up, and once this species breaks into two species, you get the idea. It's a tree diagram. And we'll be able to see kind of how they start and where they go from there. So I'm excited for that. We need to wait, though, a long time before that happens. And there we go. We got another autosave. Now, the Web of Life. Oh, whoa. I've never actually seen this. I'm not really sure what the heck this is. I'm assuming once we get different species, it will make more sense. But looks like I couldn't tell you what this is, to be honest. We also have population history, so we started off with pretty small population, and we're actually extremely stable, capping out at the 400, actually the 500 that I put it at. That's only because, unfortunately, I really wish this game was a little bit more stable, but once you go past 500, at least on my PC, it likes to lag quite a bit. So I'd rather have a cap than not be able to play the game at all. Now, as you can see, over time, we are going 10 times faster now. There's actually waves as well, so the ground goes up and down with the rising tide, so that helps with them moving around and everything. It's just really cool to see kind of how they live. So we got a huge aquatic colony over here. I don't know what they're doing. We have some on land, as you can see. These guys have been foraging this land for a while. Still have not had any breaks in the species yet, so we have not evolved them just yet enough. But if we actually go down, we can probably see that they're actually evolving. We might be a little bit too early. They are, actually, look at that. We have a little nib there. Not really sure if that's a tail or a leg or what that is, but that is the definition of evolution. So yeah, these guys, they have one leg, it looks like, some of them, and being over time, they might actually break off into their own species. Right now, it's hard to say what's going on. Looks like this guy actually has horns. So, yeah, that's pretty damn cool. Are those horns or are those pincers? I have no idea. These guys are pretty damn ugly, the old olive species. And this guy, is he growing horns or is he growing eyes? I have no idea, but that's kind of how you can see them evolve. And over time, it's going to get more pronounced than that. I promise you that. So let's just speed up time, let these guys evolve a little bit. Oh, looks like this colony's dying out, but I see in the top right, look at the grazers coming in over here, just totally grazing the whole ground behind them. That is a huge colony, probably the vast majority of my colonies right there. Let's actually go check out the satellite map and see what we're looking at. Yeah, there it is right there. You can see that's the major colony that I'm seeing right now. And it looks like we officially have our first species. It's split off, so let's pause time a little bit and see what's going on. So we have two different species now. So if we go to our clade diagram here, as you can see, we have our dominant species, which was the original, and now we have another major species, which is coming up with 48. Now, the definition of a species is basically they can't have sex with each other. So this guy, although he looks similar to the other guy, he is his own species now. Now, they're obviously going to look very similar at the start. We have to go through a few evolutionary stages for them to really change, but basically it went from a worm to a leg species, which was the species we probably saw before that I showed you guys. But you can see it actually highlights that the species that we're looking at. So where is this new species? Let's actually go back and see the new major species. So they're actually over here in the water. So this is a whole different species. And is it an aquatic species? It looks like they're staying in the water. That being said, hold on, pause it. I think we actually have four legs on some of these guys. It looks like, no, maybe that's just their little, I don't know what those things are. I couldn't tell you what half of this species is right now. He's pretty damn ugly, I'll tell you that much. This guy, is he dying or is he just rolling over? Are those eyeballs? I have no idea, or is it just getting lots of horns? Anyways, that's exciting. We have two species right now. I'm gonna let them go once again. Now, let's actually... One thing I don't know much about, because I don't believe it was in the original game, is the nursery. And where is that thing? Okay, it's way at the edge of the island here. But basically, we can use this to experiment with artificial selection pressures. So basically, we can tell them how to grow. It looks like... Oh, extinction? Did I actually... A species has been lost forever. We still have two species, though. But did the one go extinct? Oh, that sucks. So I think I might have lost the one species. That or we popped off another species as well. I'm looking at the nursery right now, though, so we'll check that out later. So you can genome bend in this game with the gene editor. So maybe we'll try that later. I like the idea of trying to make my own species to maybe, like, dominate this world. I want to make sure... This episode's going to be all about just evolution, I think. And then maybe the next one will move into gene editing if you guys are enjoying this. But let me actually see what happened to that one species. Is it dead? Oh! Oh, we actually had the dominant species break off into another one, which is already dead. So it had a chance to survive, probably didn't have enough creatures, and totally died. We still have the major species here. It's doing totally fine. We have a dominant species with 300, major species with 157, and we have a mutant species now. Is there a way to see that? Which is this guy right here. This is the mutant. He's kind of hiding out. The ones that are yellow. Is there any more yellows? It's probably not a very big species yet. There he is. So this is our mutant. This is our third species, which is a mutated form of our original dominant species. And it looks like, it's hard to tell, but I think, I wish I could actually oh, God damn it. It looks like it has 4 legs, so I'm excited about that. Once we get into the 4-leg species, we can see how they grow. I mean, we might have like a giraffe-like species. We might have a predator, things like that. That's when it's going to get truly exciting. But we have 3 species now. It seems to be doing okay. So that is very exciting. It's actually got 24 compared to the 120-something and 250 of our major. All right. So yeah, so far so good. We haven't had any dead loss, which is always exciting. Another thing we can do, not that we really need it, is we can play with rovers. And these will basically, I believe it's only to feed, or, oh, you can actually tell them to kill, too. So, yes, you can do some pretty disastrous stuff in this game if you really want to. But the rovers are good for if you're having population troubles. You can tell them to feed when the population is lower than 50, for example. We'll keep that rover out there. He probably won't have to do much, though, because we're having no issues with population. But you can actually drive them as well. And, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I shouldn't be in the water, though, should I? I mean, I guess this thing can drive underwater. Jesus Christ. It's got some damn impressive suspension on it. But yeah, I guess I can manually feed if I want to. Or I can just drive it around and have fun on this thing as well. So I think it's automated, though. It should automatically feed when these guys need the feeding. Bad news, we're down to 2 species once again. This will be a common occurrence, though. We had a lot of break-offs, as you can see. The dominant and... Wait! So we have 2 dominant species now? Oh no, it turned into major. Oh, okay, so I guess... All right, that confused me. I thought the dominant species never changed its name. It just shows population-wise which one is the dominant species. So we have, once again, 2 species, the main 2 that I think we started with. You could see that this one broke off to try and evolve into a bunch of different species, but unfortunately, everyone has perished since then. So... yeah, right now we have 2 species that are obviously doing really, really well. We just got to get lucky and have them break off and have successful subspecies. All right, and now when I speed up time, we are making species, we are dropping species like crazy, so life is beginning here. As you can see, all the things are going on down here. We had some go extinct, others that are actually doing okay now, it looks like, so let's pause time. And yeah, look at that. As I assumed, we had one that broke off. How are these guys doing, though? Yeah, we got a very minor species here with only 11. It up from 6, though, so that's good. Let's go check out this one. So this is this guy right here. Hard to say because they're underwater what's going on, but we have the little view here. Looks like they're relying on coral or whatever this is out here, so that's kind of cool. They're sticking with the water. They have eyeballs, though. I can actually see some of these guys actually have eyeballs. So we're kind of getting into where it's going to spread out now, and this is the exciting part. And you can see they're moving around a lot faster now. Yeah, these guys officially have 4 legs, guys. Some of them are bigger than the others. Let's actually open this up. Let's go to genetic engineering just to kind of show you how this works. So now we actually have some limbs and whatnot. You can totally customize everything. You can even customize the skin color, torso. You can see all the widths and everything. And this is where gene editing comes into play. So you could basically play this like Spore if you want to. You can even change the brain. Oh my god, you could change it, for example, if you don't want a lazy species, you can actually alter the brain to say, hey, don't be lazy at all. And everything else you guys can see, motivation, like everything. Numbers of features. So number of facial features. We got different faces as well. You can even change the face type. So yeah, you can totally customize these however you like. And that's where the nursery comes into play. So like I said, we'll do that in the next episode. Right now, I'm just trying to get some species on the ground that are not mine and just randomly generated. All right, we are spreading out now. We got 7 species, guys. We got some really small population species, though, just to see the comparison here. So these are from this tree. Let's actually compare to this other tree. So yeah, you can see they're definitely starting to look different now. It was hard to tell earlier, but you can tell that these are from the same family. This one's a little bit different than these two. Makes sense because it's another branch of that tree. But these guys all look very, very similar. They're just subspecies of their father species. So this is just so cool. Now, we did drop one of them already, as you can see. I mean, species are going to go extinct all the time. So this species is starting to look like a little baby. Can I turn off color coordinating? Oh my god, another one. They always die in front of me, man. Yeah, we're going to turn this off. So you can actually color coordinate a bunch of different ways just to kind of tell what's going on. But look at these guys. They kind of look, well, they look horrifying. I totally understand that. But they do look like a poop species now that I really look at them. But they kind of look like walking babies, right? They are dying like crazy, though. I hope they're okay. Oh, crap! We're down to 1 What the hell happened here? I was too busy looking at species here, and that's how quickly bad things can happen. So, wow, that whole tree just died off, and now we have 1 dominant species that has taken over and made everything else possibly extinct. I wonder if they died to the natural elements. It has been getting really cold, as you can see. That just goes with natural weather patterns, though. So I guess they didn't survive. We had 7 species. Now we're back down to 1. Oh, it's a little frustrating, but at least they look way cooler now. And it's not like we're having a population issue. Where the hell are they, though? Am I having... Where... Are they hiding? Like, seriously. So we have some... Well, no, they're pretty much all dead. We have a couple moving around in here. But there should be 400 of these... Okay, let's open up the map. That's how we're going to tell. Looks like they all moved into the water. And I wonder if that's just due to the weather. That's why I can't find them. They're all underneath the water here. Living in the water quite literally. So, yeah, I think I'm having issues with, like, temperature. Maybe it was winter. I have no idea. But hopefully they move back out to the ground. I mean, I like the idea of having some fish around, but I don't want my species to just be fish. Okay, so I've let it go for a while. As you can see, we have 6 species now. They are in small colonies. This is not horrifying at all, guys. What the hell? God, it's like a little aquatic baby, horrifying alien thing. It kind of looks like a fish and a baby had a kid. That doesn't even make sense, but it does look like a fishy baby, right? So, I'm not crazy. But yeah, we have 6 species. Let's actually go to the diagram, see what's going on here. Okay, so obviously that was the dominant one, and then it just spread. We have... let's actually look at the difference here. So, again, very similar. These two obviously should look similar because they're on the same tree. This guy, he's growing some major long arms. I hope this guy stays alive. He's only got 21. That's probably the most interesting one. Looks like this guy right here. And they are right over here. Let's see. Oh, my God. What is wrong with you? So, yeah. Obviously, it's a good sign, though. Limbs are growing long and strong. Now, they have to get tall enough to actually, like, eat the leaves out of the tree, I think. And I think that's what this species is hopefully going to do. Oh, my God. Okay, so unfortunately, we have a sole survivor. Oh, he just made more. Oh, no, he's back down to a sole survivor. So I'm having an issue now where, as you can see, our population isn't great. We actually had a species, like, flourishing happen recently, which is a problem when you have a cap. Because at one time, we had 11 species going at the same time, and do the math, with a max of 500, there's not many to reproduce. So we have to be very careful here to not have too many species either. You can see these guys very, very similar. We have 2 different ones over here. My God, what the hell is you? What are you? That is horrifying. All right, here's these guys. So are these guys got 2 heads? Or is that just 2? That must be 2 guys. What's going on with your butt? I'm very confused. Oh. All right, he's sleeping. Yeah, what is seriously going on with your butt? There's something wrong there, man. There is definitely something wrong. Yet, you're a pretty successful species, so whatever. Now, we're down to 110, though. I don't really know what's going wrong. Well, it is cold once again, and I have been trying to warm up the area. There we go. We're back to 26. You can see it's all over the place, though. So it's hard to tell. But yeah, we had a major population loss recently. So yeah, now it's just literally survival of the fittest. And I mean, it's not a bad thing because we got some pretty crazy looking species now. This guy's just wiggling about. They have eyeballs, as you can see. Oh, God damn it. Looks like my rover is trying its best to keep these species alive. So it is automated. And as you can see, now that we're below 50, it's going to go around and do its best to feed everything that we need fed. The problem is we have so many species right now and so few population that we might run into extinction here, which would really, really suck. There goes another little colony there. God damn it. At this point, I just want them to drop down to 1 species and let it dominate. So I let these guys go for a long time, and both of my creatures have turned into water creatures for some reason. So I guess it's because of all the different things they can eat in here. So I'm not really sure how I can entice them to get on the land. I think what I'm doing wrong maybe here is having the rovers feed them. The thing is, they're not evolving to try and eat better, but as you can see, they are much larger now. This is my one creature. It's basically, it walks on its 2 legs. Kind of looks like a bumblebee. But yeah, it stays in the water. It's got eyes everywhere, it looks like. On the back of it as well, so all over the place. Let's actually go check out the other creature, and let me show you how long I've been going here. Unfortunately, the main creatures that I wanted to keep going are fossilized now. We had some really long guys, as you can see. These were our land-based creatures. Unfortunately, their tree has totally died. We actually had a few impressive ones over here as well that were breaking off, but unfortunately, we're back down to the major 2, which are these 2 creatures. So, for some reason, I can't tell you why, but these are my 2 creatures. So we have the green guys over here and then the blue guys, which are also aquatic creatures, it looks like. Okay, they're getting much bigger. You can see, is this one dying? Yeah, this one's dying, unfortunately, so I have to find some living ones. They're probably up, yeah, over here in, once again, the weeds. So both my creatures are surviving inside the weeds. Let's turn off color coordination just so we can see what they actually look like. And kind of hard to see in the shrubbery here. They're absolutely ugly, but these ones at least have legs. And I keep going back to this. We have ones that evolved to more impressive statures, I guess you could say, but then we drop down to these simple-legged, gill-breathing creatures that stay in the water. And it makes sense. I mean, there's lots of weeds down here that they can eat. But I was hoping for the mammoth creatures that we could expect in this game, and I think it just comes down to the fact that I made it too easy to live. I have rovers feeding these guys, and basically the smallest creature is going to be the one that survives. If we made the food harder to get, we might have creatures that become larger. For example, giraffes, I mean, they're largely have the long necks just due to the fact that they need to reach the top of trees to get the food that they need. So things like that, I think we should probably try and test out a few different things, maybe make a harder world to survive. But I think we're going to wrap up this one here, guys. So this was Species, Artificial Life, Real Evolution. I hope you guys enjoyed this first look into the game. Now, we only scratched the surface, just basically playing with the evolution in the game. I'd like to try and, you know, bend some genomes and actually build my own creature, but it's only if you guys like this game. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if you guys have any suggestions on how to improve this, because I'd like to have a mixture of creatures. You know, in the perfect world, I'd like to have some fish creatures, some land-based creatures. It looks like these guys might make it to land once again, but they'll probably die off once again. There's my rover feeding all of them, as you can see. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching and liking. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Species, Artificial Life, Real Evolution. If you want to know anything more about it, links will be in the description. Thanks so much for watching and liking, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.